Hi, it's Ray from Pro Shaper Workshop in Charlton, Massachusetts. I got super volunteer Charlie working tonight. Mark's running the camera. We're going to try to do the best we can. We're going to try to put this wheel well opening in to match the front one. The first thing we're going to do is try to get this wire in. We'll do that right now. All right, so I'm looking at that back, and it looks like the line comes up straight and then comes over with a radius here. So sort of straight, a radius, and then a soft radius. Straight, stronger radius, soft radius. And then I'm looking at the front, and I know I've got that one wrong. That has to come up like this too, and then go over. So we'll do this one and probably cut the other one out and correct that. I got it going at an angle like that, and it should come up straight and then do the jump over. So let's start right here. See if I can come up and then do a curve. Something like that. We'll cut that out. I'm liking that. All right, so that's our starting point. Nothing's set in stone until we get further on down the road. So Charlie can bend that one. I'm going to mark it top. And I'm going to mark the spot where we're at. It goes in right about there. So looking down the car and observing that picture closer, I noticed that I had made this one with a nice curve going this way, but I think it's supposed to come up more like this, make a turn, and then go back. That's what I'm doing in the back. So I'm going to make an alternate wire alternate wire trajectory. I'll put that like that. That way there we're matching the back more. I'll bend that wire, or have Charlie bend that wire up, and then we'll cut that one out and try it. We might have to adjust these other ones too. But this is just setting the counterstones before we progress and do a whole bunch. Today was a good day in New England, Massachusetts here. We were at 71 degrees. The sun was out. Spring is sprung. Awesome. We're supposed to get some rain, but we'll live with that. It's supposed to be in the 50s or so. So here's my new line. I'm going to try this one and see what that looks like. Well, Charlie's bending up those wires. I'll make another wire for the back. We'll have the two wires on that rear fender, and that'll stabilize this outer edge. Put it right about here. So let's mark it with the tape. I hope some of the people out there in the audience are buying their wire and trying something, because it's a lot of fun.
Let's take a look at this, right?
Very good. Excellent. I'm going to put that in there like that. And we're going to come up with it. See how that looks.
Yes.
At best?
Yeah,
It's still got to come down, doesn't it?
I believe so.
Now, let's put that front wire in.
And would you look at that?
On the back, I don't know, it was a tire migrated or whatever. It was inboard before. We had it centered under this wire, but it needs to come out a little bit. It's in line with the front wheel, which is what we want. Centered in the wheel well here. But somehow it might be pull back and this, no, forward. So I had to pull it back, so I'm going to have to cut two of these loose and move this whole assembly back. All right, got those two wires in. I think this one's going to be a little too strong here, but now when you have something set, it's very easy to determine what you need to do. All right, so we made some preliminary wires here to establish this outer fender wheel opening. And this one, at close observation of the picture, I noticed that this was coming up straight and then coming over. So now I've made a new line, and without cutting this one out, I'll put this next to it, and then you can do an A-B to see which one looks better. And I'll mark that with my marker and then cut that off and then weld that in and then cut that off. We might have to redo. This one might be okay. This one we might have to redo, and the rear ones we might have to redo. It's no big deal to redo them, and these can be recycled for something else too. So there's no waste at all, or very little waste. So I'm going to mark this, cut it, and then put it in. So now we're going to see if that wire looks good. Can I do that over? Yeah. It's a little high, I think. All right, so I put this in, preliminary, eyeballing it. It looks to me to be a little high. Can cut it out and redo it real easy. I can also leave it in. It's obviously an improvement over this one. This was my first one. I'm going to cut that out. The nice thing about the wires is you can grind them to half their thickness and they'll still do their job. So that gains you 1/4 of an inch. So you can lower that line by 1/4 of an inch. But say you want to even go lower, you just marry up another piece underneath here with a couple MIGs. That'll strengthen it again, and you can totally grind that out if you want. Or you can change the wire, either way. So you have a lot of options. So I'm going to leave that one in there for now. I'm going to probably put another one over here. And the goal to finish up for this video is to maybe get these two door lines in next. Charlie's working on the rear fender. Again, these are all preliminary wires, and we'll keep refining them by eyesight. And then we have to refine them with the 1/8 or 3/16 rod that we'll put on there and see how it all flows. And then we adjust it as needed. This is really important right now, and this is meticulous as opposed to, say, this line. We probably had about 5 iterations on this line, but that was all about raising and lowering it and then putting a little bit of curve to it. Wasn't a big deal. These, it's hard to see because of the picture exactly how the flow goes. So we can rely on the picture only so much, and then we're going to have to rely on our eye. And then our eye is not the last word again. We're going to use that rod to check the continuity of the curve. And I'll go over that when we get to it. But right now, we'll put a couple more wires, which will strengthen it up. I'll do them in the front. Charlie will do them in the back. And then we're going to concentrate on getting those door lines in. Once we get the door lines in, we can go with a straight line here. And the fender comes out just a little bit. It fattens out here just a little. All right, so I did a preliminary line in the cardboard, and then I'll translate that into the 1/4 inch wire.
How do you want me to reshape this rear wire, Ray?
Which one?
This front one right here.
We'll cut it out and just
Can that redo it?
go again. We'll go sister next to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just wonder, like, more gradual or?
Oh, the shape.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, did you get that one in?
Yes, this one right here.
Okay.
Kind of like this, but a little bit more prolific.
Yeah, it needs to be a little stronger right in here, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get a piece of
Comes up sort of leaning in a little bit, but straight, and then the rounded there.
Rolls right into it.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, you can use the cardboard to correct it. Let me see. Let me mark it. So it comes up good. Yeah. A little stronger right there. The actual door opening line will come forward like this and then down, and it's going to be down here somewhere. That will get put in later. What I want is a cross-sectional profile line, so we'll probably put that about right here. I put this tick here showing how far we're off this wire here. So I'm going to eyeball that in. It comes from here. So there's our line for the front. That's a preliminary line. We might have to adjust it. This is the top. All right, so I just made another wire for the front fender. Charlie can bend this up. Don't cut it. You don't have to cut it. Just bend it to that. All right. We'll bend it to that, and then it slopes down, so the one in the back is just going to be similar but shorter. Now, where did I put my wire? Now, I'm looking this right here, and this is a little high right here. Now, one way I can correct that is we can cut that right there and then pull that down and then re-weld it, which I probably do on that. We're going to verify whether or not it's too high when we put that 3/16 rod going across. Right now I'm going to just cut that off, and I think this will be pretty close. We'll put that in, and we'll have a good portion of that front fender done. Charlie is doing the door profile line right now. We try to make these at 90 degrees with no slope on them like that or anything, so just hold them in place. Give them a quick tack. You can see how that front fender is going together. Another wire will be required down here, but the separation of the wires right now is fine for making the panel. These are probably like 8 inches apart or so, and this might be 10 or so. That's good. But I'll go get that wire and you'll see what we got. All right, I got 2 wires here. I got a 3/16 wire, and I also have a 1/8 inch wire. These are both cold rolled. What we're working with here is hot rolled, and some people don't know what hot roll and cold roll mean. Hot roll is a less refined product. Cold roll is a more refined product. Cold roll is hotter and has more spring to it, so you really couldn't do this with the hot roll wire. You have to have cold roll. I think a 12-foot section of this cold rolled 1/8 sells for about $12 or $10 or something like that. Whereas the hot roll is like $3.10 for 20 feet or so. So let's try it with the 1/8 and see if that works first. We're going to put that in there like that, and then we bring it around. And you see, the idea is this will do a perfect flow. And we're a little low right here. It's not horrible. And we want to be in the ballpark with this wire too. So that's preliminary. That's not too bad. Now we're going to bring it about here and see how that goes. That one looks low right there. This one here is reading a little low. So we'll have to adjust these to get these perfect. And then we bring it here, and that's pretty close too. I got to come around on the other side. It's going to come down, and then it makes a reverse going across over the hood. So in this case here, the 1/8 wire worked really good. The 3/16's a little bit more stiff. We'll try that one. Put that in there. Yeah, that's working okay too. So again, see, that's showing this little gap right here. So there's not enough bend right here. So we could either cut that wire out and change it, but we know exactly what we need to do now. It's possible that these might be a little high right here, so we could grind that a little bit, grind it right here. Again, we're going to be doing a lot of eyeballing from different angles, plus the wire. And if we grind that, then this might touch. So we made some pretty good guesses using that cardboard as a guide. Charlie's making the door line. Let's see what he's got going on it. All right, Charlie, that's looking really good. What we want now is a straight edge here. You know the big straight edges, the aluminum ones against the wall there?
Yeah, just
bring one of those over. How's that look, Mark? You're looking from that angle. How's this? Is it tapering? Is it parallel? What is it doing?
It's tapering into the rear fender.
Tapering into the rear fender a little bit.
Trying to bring it.
Let's see.
Yeah, I think something like that would be better.
Okay. So we want that little flip up on the rear fender though.
You're still going to have a flip up, but
Yeah.
I think it's a little too much.
yes.
All right. So okay,
Yeah, a little bit come in. Yeah, I'd say right about there.
that's parallel.
That looks about as good as
All right. So we got to add 3/4 of an inch to each one of these. We can either probably best to just weld on
Sure.
3/4 inch tabs on.
We'll
Just use the little copper piece with this vice grip.
Yep.
And I'll start bending another one. I'll make the other one, I can redo the drawing, that's all. I'll redo the drawing. So I'm going to set that off a little bit. And set that off a little bit. All right, a little interlude in this video. While Charlie's making up the door wires. This is a fender made by Scott Bellamy, and he works at RM Auto Restoration in Blenheim, Canada. It's a premier restoration shop. I think they've won Pebble Beach like 7 times. And R&M send 2 of their employees down, Scott and Cameron, and they're working on a 24 Hispano Suiza, and they had to make these fenders. Actually, Cam made a Wireform. It was the first Wireform he had made, and they brought pictures of vintage pictures of the car from probably like 24 or 25 or 26, showing a side view of the fenders. This is the rear fender, and there's also a heavy bracket that's forged that supports the fender, and they had to spend a couple days just straightening those out. They were so bad. And I decided, I think the best course of action was to make a new Wireform to make the correct shape fender, because it was off a little bit. So we spent a lot of time doing analysis of that picture, and we had to make a few guesses. And this is 063 3003 aluminum. And Scott's a pretty accomplished shaper, but he came down here to learn a few new skills, which I think he did. And he actually taught me a few little tricks too, which is pretty cool. And you can see this is the inside of the fender. And it's a beautiful job. I insisted we make it mirror finish. So he spent a little extra time on it. And then we buffed it out today. My helper Fred came and he buffed it. I buffed a little bit the other day. And we'll be getting this all mounted on the bracket and everything. We'll be doing an elaborate video, which we'll put on my Facebook page. And we'll probably put it on YouTube too. But I just thought you'd like to see the quality of the work that you can do if you follow the rules of the metal. And it's really not that difficult. Once you learn the rules, you can pretty much make anything. And this is what you see here is what you're going to see on the panel work on this Alfa. It's going to look like this. This is what I insist on, and it's not that hard to do as long as you take a few extra minutes here and there to make everything just right. It's got a wired edge on it. There's a steel wire in there. And once you've done 6 inches of wiring the edges, it's all the same. It's not that difficult. It's done with a little special hammer. I use a door skinning hammer, and I have a special pair of pliers that I crimp it with. And, Scott just did an exceptional job. I told him I wanted it ready for the Tiffany window. So when he goes back to R&M Auto Restoration, they'll be really happy with the results. Watch for that video. It should be coming up later next week or something. All right, with the help of Super Volunteer, but he's been upgraded to Super Apprentice now. That's Charlie from Michigan. Comes all the way out to Michigan to learn and to just be a member of the crew here. He loves being here, and he helps out tremendous amount. So we got these door wires in, the front one and the back one. We got some of the front fender in. We got some of the rear fender in. And now we're getting that 3D depth on this whole side of the body. And this will start to get pretty strong now. We still have a whole bunch of wires to put in. We'll put a whole bunch going here. Every 8 inches or so, we'll put another one coming down. We'll check the continuity of the curve. We need another couple more on the front fender and a couple more on the rear fender. And on this rear fender, as you can see, this wire is out here, and there's going to be a little bit of reverse coming out here like this. And it's barely noticeable on the fender, on the picture on the wall there, but it's going to have that. So we still have to put a little more curve in this, but it's coming along good now, and maybe we can... next week, maybe we can put a couple hours into it and get a little bit more done. But Charlie, thanks for helping out, and Mark does a great job as usual. He's going to do the editing and upload it, and it'll go on tomorrow at Friday. Thanks for watching. It's Ray from Pro Shaper Workshop in Charlton, Massachusetts. Please tell all your friends. We've got to get more views on this and try to share the video as much as possible. Thanks again. It's Ray from Pro Shaper Workshop.